sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal wéef nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jar Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jar Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jar Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jar Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jar Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jar Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
If the world hasn't stopped moving, your money shouldn't slow you down. With Bloombank Africa, you are always connected, wherever, whenever, in many ways than one. So whether you're sending funds to family, paying for goods and services, settling bills, or just making sure you've got some cash at hand, Bloombank puts speed, simplicity, and security in the palm of your hand. Transfer funds between your Wave or AfriMoney account and your Bloombank account anytime, anywhere, because your money should flow at the pace of your life. Visit your nearest Bloombank branch today to link your account. Bloombank Africa. We make it happen.
I didn't hear in the updates anything relating to the border problems that commercial vehicle operators are experiencing in the south.
Okay, that wasn't brought to my attention. Maybe I need to do more findings on that, and I can report on that. But I didn't get any information.
Your colleague trade minister knows something about it, because once the news reached me, I tried to call the transport minister. He doesn't seem to be in town.
No, he's not in town.
Yeah, no wonder.
Yeah.
So I called him, being in charge of regional integration. The Senegalese again saying that commercial vehicles from the Gambia, will not be allowed into Casamance unless they go all the way to Dakar, get registered, because registration is apparently centralized. And the experience of the first taxi operators who try to register, you'll get into Dakar, believing that you'll do it in a few hours, and then come back, and you could be stranded there for days.
Okay, I'll find out.
Nobody in Dakar in the meantime. If people think that the Gambia is expensive, they should try, Senegal. When you have to convert your dalasi to CFA to survive in, a country we all know is, just as tough as the Gambia. So that's the...
No, I'll find out. This not brought my attention.
Yeah.
I'll speak with Maud. I'll speak also with Omar Ceesay, the president of the Gambia Transport Union. He should be aware of this.
Big issue.
And I'll find out, and then we will do the needful as a government.
Fare that used to be, 2,500, from the border to Ziguinchor. It's now 20,000, they say.
No.
From Juromi Temir to Nyar June.
Wow.
No, 10,000, not 20,000.
Okay. I'll find out.
This June thing and whatever.
I'll find out. Yeah. So, those are the updates. I still have a few things I want to clarify, because sometimes when people come out to deliberately mislead and misinform the public for political reasons, we cannot stay quiet. And I've said it.
Who's misleading who?
As far as I'll come there. As far as I'm Minister of Information, if you come out at 2 p.m. and mislead, 2:30 I'll come and clarify and give the facts and the facts. I wouldn't let it even slip. I wouldn't even leave it there for 1 hour. Half an hour, I'll do my fact check and come with the facts and counter you. Now, there was this statement. You see, it's very dangerous to politicize certain issues. Very, very dangerous to politicize certain issues, particularly the war that is happening currently in the Middle East. We all know...
Who's trying to politicize the war in the Middle East, in the
I'll come. The Lord Mayor of KM made a statement which, by all intents and purposes, was aimed at misleading the public for political gain, and I think we cannot let that slide, because we're here to protect the interests of the Gambian people. Anybody who is going against that interest...
You're forcing me now to invite him after you.
Of course.
Because,
having
brought up his issue unprovoked.
Fine.
He has right to reply.
So he came out, and then, even though he acknowledged the global problems, he is saying that the Gambia did not have any structured fuel subsidies to deal with the crisis that is happening, and that we don't have any targeted support for commercial transport operators, and no price stabilization mechanism to cushion the impact. He's also saying that we don't have what he calls an urban transport transit route. Now, all these are false statements. Why? When this event happened, and fuel subsidy, he got it wrong, because the government subsidized fuel in the pumps with $360 million. And we saw that statement. Had it not been that subsidy, the price of fuel at the pump today would be over $120 per liter. Still in the sub-region, bar Nigeria, we're the cheapest with all what is happening. Gambia doesn't produce fuel. We don't have oil. We import. And we are all vulnerable to the shocks that are happening in the Middle East, both in terms of production, but also in terms of supply chains. We all know today that production has been reduced. If 10 million barrels were produced a day, it's gone down by over 20-30%. Supply chain, the state of Hormuz, 1/5 of global oil supplies go through it. Today it has gone down tremendous, significantly, affecting everywhere in the world. No country it has not been affected. Go to the US, go to the pumps, the gallon per gallon is gone up from $3 to almost $4 something. So you cannot politicize this. Every country is feeling the pinch. But what we have done as a responsible government is to subsidize and pump in within a very short period. And this is not even our budget, because we're not anticipating that such a crisis would happen in 2026. So it wasn't factored in our budget. We pumped in $360 million so that the price of fuel doesn't go to $120 per liter as it's supposed to be. Because today, the price of Brent crude per barrel is been fluctuating from sometimes, it doesn't go below $100 per barrel. The pre-war period, it was less than $70. And now sometimes it goes to depending on how the markets react. It goes to $119, $120 per barrel. It comes to $110, but it hovers at $120. Even if the war ends today, for the next 6 months, it cannot go below $100, because even if today the war ends and we are going to start production again, these production machines, you don't just put them on like that. There's a process that it takes to bring these machines on so they can come to their full capacity and start supplying the world. So we cannot politicize this. But I want to bring to the attention of the mayor the promises he made are never fulfilled as mayor. In 2022,
I thought you were going to address the issues one by one.
These are the issues. He said that
no structured
fuel subsidies, which is false.
Yeah.
We are already done that.
Okay, that you have.
No targeted support for commercial transport operators.
So how are you supporting, a commercial transport?
The fuel
operators?
subsidy.
Okay.
Effectively supports them.
Okay.
Because what it does is that they bring the price of fuel down for them.
Okay.
Then he said that no price stabilization mechanism to cushion the impact. We've done that. We've done the price stabilization to cushion the impact of it. And the president is a visionary leader who has the foresight, knowing that, learning from COVID, he increased salaries on 2 occasions in this country, so that we cushion the impact of this crisis. But he said also that there's limited investment in mass transit systems to ease the burden of commitments. Look at the infrastructural developments in terms of roads. The Battle Harding Highway. Today when I drive in the morning to go to work and I see the traffic jamming at traffic light, I say, what, this president is a visionary. How did he know that in 2026 there'll be so much cars in this country that traffic will be a nightmare? He built a 10-lane road here. 6 plus 2 on each side.
Yeah, we're still having traffic
Yeah,
jams
but no, what I'm saying, imagine, but no, these are short one, both at the peak hours, and it flows. What I'm saying, imagine if the president built this battle-hardened highway today. It would take me 2 hours from Senegambia to my office. Because you know that small file of that was available. So, but what I want to bring to as an mayor is that, you see, sometimes...
What about urban transport thing? You skipped it.
He said, no, the urban transport, we are doing it. That's why we are building all these roads.
No, roads.
But it starts with the infrastructure.
Or you start with the infrastructure.
If you don't have infrastructure, you cannot do anything.
Then the buses and...
Of course.
You're even...
That is why, you see, the president, His Excellency the President, has made a statement. They asked him, what is the priority of your government? He said 3 things. What are those 3? He said infrastructure. Because every development hinges on infrastructure.
Okay.
If you don't build health infrastructure, forget about healthcare, education infrastructure. That is why he's building hospitals, he's building schools, sports infrastructure, he's building mini stadiums and stadiums, building universities, building roads. So we have started the foundation of that.
Okay, so
but he made a promise.
The road, then the transport network will come.
All right. And currently, we are developing an urban transport master plan. That's what we are developing now.
Okay.
So that when that is ready, then the infrastructure is ready, it will link and everything will fall in place. But he made a promise in 2022, and it's 2026, and he's got only a few months to his mayorship. I want to ask, he said, the council is working on introducing the first municipal urban transport system. It will provide 50 buses over 5 years. Where are those buses? This was in 2022. He made this promise. The mayor of Kanifing Municipal Council announced that his council is working on introducing the first municipal urban transport system. Municipal urban transport system that will provide 50 buses over 5 years. He added that the buses will serve over 20 routes within the municipality. This was in 2022, October 14th. Where are those buses?
That's a news item, right? The news item was published that day.
Yes. Now, the mayor also made the remarks yesterday, Thursday, during the launching of the distribution of 10,000 waste bins to communities. So you are giving waste bins to communities. Waste bin cost negligible.
Yeah, but to keep the city clean.
He added that KMC is also working on building over 38 kilometers roads connecting every ward in the municipality over the next 5 years. What are those roads connecting every ward? See, when people dream, let's dream with them. The mayor made this. Now he's promising to change the Gambia. Let's move. We are not done yet. He further disclosed that the council is working on bringing about the first municipal affordable housing company called Affordable Housing Project, targeting development of 8,000 affordable homes for young families and less privileged families within the municipality. Where are those homes? You promised 50 buses and a highly sophisticated urban transport system, 0. You promised 38 kilometers of roads to connect wards, 0. You promised 8,000 affordable homes, 0.
For the roads, he was serious about them. You sabotaged him.
How did we sabotage?
Your government and NRA.
The road that the one they mentioned is only one kilometer in Bakau. He's saying 38 kilometers connecting all the wards in the municipality, not 1 kilometer in Bakau. 38 kilometers connecting all the wards, 8,000 affordable homes, and 50,000 buses, and a highly sophisticated urban transport system, 0, nix, delivered. And we have the guts now to tell us how we should run this country, even though we are running it effectively. In addition to the above, I'm not done yet. He said they would also develop 7 new markets over 5 years with 1,000 new vendor spaces that would double the current market capacity of KM. 0. He noted that the initiative entered whatever. But anyways, like I said, you see, all these are promises. But the most important ones were these 4. I want to ask, where are they? Where are the 50 buses? And where is the urban system for KM? Nix. What are the 8,000 affordable homes? Not even a boys' quarter is built. Nix. Where are the, what did he say again? Remind me.
It wasn't me who told you.
Just 8 kilometers of roads.
It wasn't
to connect all the wards in the region. Where are they? Nix. And now you are telling us that we don't have the foresight to deal with a situation which is totally out of our control. A war no one anticipated, and a war affecting every society and in every corner of this continent. And again, that takes me to which I think is important, which is we should stop politicizing this war in the Middle East. It is of nobody's making today of the people that are facing the impact and the consequences of this war. Now, the main transmission is here. Let's look at the price of fuel in the pumps. Like I said, we don't produce fuel in the Gambia. We don't have crude oil. We don't have a refinery to even refine that crude oil. We are exposed. We buy 100% of our fuel needs abroad, outside, mostly from the Middle East. So if where it is produced and refined, one, the price goes up exponentially due to production suppressions and supply chain bottlenecks. It's going to affect us. That is a fact. Let us not politicize it or sugarcoat it. It will affect us. What is important is that how do you react when it affects you as a responsible government? And we've done that. We subsidized over $360 million into this sector. But also, it will also not only affect the fuels in the pump, it will also affect our energy supply in terms of electricity. Because remember, a quite chunk of our energy generation is done through heavy fuel. You know what we've done? We have also subsidized $1 billion to make sure
in heavy fuel oil.
No, in NAWEC, in the energy sector, so that the price per kilometer what we are paying for our electricity is not going up. 2025 year we invested $1 billion as subsidies into the energy sector. 2026 $1 billion, and this is in the budget because otherwise today, with all the problems happening, you would have been paying much more, 100% more for energy needs. This is what a serious government does. Now, but also remember, and let us be truthful to our people. We are lucky that we have enough. I think we have. I'll try to get in touch with the Minister of Agriculture this morning to know exactly our fertilizer stock currently in the country, because it is going to affect fertilizer prices. And that's a fact. And fertilizer prices, when they're affected, food prices are automatically affected because they are linked. And we need to be truthful to our people that this is a problem. How can we all work together as a country to solve this problem? It's the problem of nobody's making. It's not my making. It's not the making of President Adama Barrow. It's not your making. A problem has happened which will affect global food prices, global inflation. How do we deal with it as a country?
Yeah, how do you involve the opposition, for instance? People who are criticizing you. How do you? Has government reached out to the opposition to say how can we collectively, tackle this global problem?
You engage someone who is genuinely criticizing. It's not someone who's playing blame game. When it started, if they had genuine solutions, they would provide those solutions. But they started with a blame game. Or government is blamed for the fuel prices. Government is blamed for this, and they know it's false. They can't blame government for that. And let me tell you something. There will be a higher cost of fertilizer, because remember, over 30% of fertilizer come from the Middle East, and because of supply chain bottlenecks. Today, in fact, the price of urea has gone up by 80%. The price of fertilizer has gone up. So it means that I think Gambia has, I'm not sure, I'll need to find out whether we still have stocks from last year to be used that will help us. So if there is no stock, believe me, even though we are subsidizing fertilizer in the billions of dollars, like I said, a bag of 50 kilogram costs $2,800. We are selling $1,001. We are subsidizing it. But I hope we have in stock. If we have in stock, because I know that they have the foresight to do that, fine. But if that, it will go up, and we have to be very clear and very honest. You see, honesty. When you are honest, you go home and sleep. Be honest. Say the truth. Things are tough for everybody in the world. In other countries today, there's not even fuel. They queue for fuel. They're rationing it.
So everything you say here is always the truth and nothing but the truth.
So help me God. So, in conclusion on this particular one, before we go on to the elephant in the room,
yes,
it is important to understand that these economic challenges are external global shocks that very few, in fact no country, can find a solution that works perfectly. As a government, we are doing everything we can to make sure that prices are stabilized by coming up with some policies, particularly our subsidies. Now, the rising cost of living and the other associated costs are not caused by the Gambia. They are external problems. However, what is important here is at a time when the global environment is unpredictable, one solution government must look for is stability. Stability is key in this whole scheme of things, and stability is invaluable. Now, when there's predictability, investors lose confidence, policy goals are distorted, and so on and so forth. So therefore, I think this Middle East crisis is even more reason why Gambian people should vote President Adama Barrow again in 2026. Because why? What Gambia needs right now, and other countries who are feeling the pinch of this war, what they need, the most important, is policy stability.
As chair of the OIC, don't you think he could do more, should do more than just occasionally make a phone call and that's that?
No, what I'm saying is doing more. Like I said, he's using quiet diplomacy. You see, diplomacy is all about trust. It's all about how you approach every issue. What would he gain in every time and coming out? I said, spoke with this, I did that. That even doesn't even, it's not even good for, he's playing a key role as in his capacity as the chair of the OIC in trying to bring a peaceful resolution to this conflict diplomatically. And I think some of these things cannot be out there because these are high profile discussions, but I can guarantee you that he's doing more than people think he is doing. But like I said, again, I'm going to repeat this. What Gambia needs now is stability and not uncertainty. What Gambia needs now is trust in our institutions. What we need now is stability in policy, stability in our public finances, and stability in ensuring investor confidence. And I think that for us to make sure that we gain this and go through this very difficult period, it's important that we vote and re-elect President Barrow in December 2026.
The UDP doesn't think so. Amadou Sane was on the show yesterday, and he thinks that you people are steering this country in every wrong direction, particularly your emphasis on infrastructure.
Well, I think infrastructure doesn't lie. Today, if I come and tell you that I've invested, because it's physical, it's tangible. It's not intangible. It is a tangible. These are tangible investment. You see it.
Yeah.
Do you get my point?
It's giving us a road that is worth $1 million, and then you telling us that it cost you $5 million.
No, let me tell you something. You see, I don't think he understands how these things work. Now, when you measure a kilometer road, there are many factors that play in the price. The road furnitures play into the price, depending on the type of furnitures you are going to put there. The road safety mechanisms. So roads are expensive. That's the fact in the world. And I think the president should be commended for his vision and his foresight in making sure that he's moving this path to unprecedented development by building the infrastructure. Today, Magasa, and you start to build a family, the first thing you think is to build a house, infrastructure. Because if you don't have a house, you'll be renting, you'll be everywhere. So infrastructure is one where you have it. That is why the president's vision is to build this country so that anybody who comes later, they just focus on the soft components. But then the base is there. Road infrastructure, health infrastructure, education infrastructure with what's happening at UTG Farabanta campus that you said, all the classrooms, 11 classrooms a week, all the healthcare facilities building, all the equipment, road infrastructure, energy infrastructure, the grid, modernizing the grid, and making our way transition to green energy now, particularly in light with the current situation. We know that to be more self-reliant, we need to do the green transition. Now we're taking it very seriously. There's a roadmap already. You name it. All this infrastructure is there. So water infrastructure, the WASI project, making sure that there's water infrastructure. So that when the next person comes into State House, you don't.
Who might be Ismail Ceesay?
Well, no, I don't think so. So that when the next president comes or the next government comes, yeah, you don't focus on the infrastructure. The T&D, you focus on the generation. You don't focus on the classrooms. You focus on the teachers, the trainers, and so on and so forth, and the curriculum. But the infra is key. If you don't have it, forget about it. Yeah, and the president has that vision, so that when the next government comes, you don't focus about let's build schools. No, you think of now putting the unnecessary things, the intangible ones, like the water, healthcare equipment. So this is how it works, and this is the vision. Because for far too long, infrastructure was nearly abandoned in terms of development, and now that's what the president is doing, and I think he should be commended for it.
He did a lot for infrastructure.
I agree. What I'm saying is that I agree, but what I'm saying is that there were still gaps. There were still gaps because there are places in this country, like in Kabada, like in many places where they had no roads at all. Never. No road, no single road.
Okay,
they had no school. They had no hospital, no health center. They had nothing. But now they have roads. So there were still gaps. Yes, he did what he could. But there were gaps, and the press is filling those gaps now.
Okay. All right.
And we will not leave any gaps. We will not leave no gaps. With the speed the president is going, the speed of his development.
Think of the 5th of December 2026 past. You have to go past the 5th of December 2026.
You see, the problem is that there is no credible opposition. There is no alternative. And also, let me tell you something.
Is not credible.
The current opposition are strategically so inept.
UDP is not a credible opposition?
They are the most strategically inept opposition in this country. They cannot win that election.
Yeah, being unable to win an election does not render one incredible.
They are not an alternative. They cannot run this country, I'm afraid.